Ahoy hoy, I'm Planet Walk, and I'm sure you have plenty of questions based on the title of this video, but the first thing that we're going to answer is, why have I been in my bed the past few videos? Now, it may not sound all that important because I explained most of it in a previous video, but I was waiting for this particular video to talk about a rather funny thing. So, do you remember when I said this? If you're a regular viewer, you might be wondering what's going on with the background. It's transitioning, don't worry about it. So when I moved in here, one of my friends pointed out that this room actually has the trans colours in it, because the wall is blue, you got some pink right there, and the roof is white. So in retrospect, that joke was funnier than I intended it to be. And to people that are saying, oh, but we can't see a roof, I've got white keys there, so it still works. Anyway, with that small tidbit out of the way, let's get to what people are actually here for, which is coming out. Now, I've come out a couple of times on this channel. Once was halfway through a video, and once was right at the end of a video. So, you may have missed it. So if you've seen me come out before, this video will be a clarification on all that. Or you could just forget that I've come out to experience the joy of me coming out again. And if you haven't seen me come out before, well then this video will be primarily for you. But before I explain, I need to do something, because it's going to help me explain this. So, I'm bi. So as I said in that video, I am bisexual, which means that I'm attracted to more than one gender. Now this does not mean that I'm attracted to all people equally. There are some guys that I'm attracted to, a lot of MBs that I'm attracted to, and a lot of women that I'm attracted to. This is why I don't use the term pansexual, because as much as I like cooking, my sexuality definitely skews in a certain way. Because of this, there'll be people that will think that I'm not bisexual and that I'm actually just straight, but that misunderstands what bisexuality is. There are a lot of people out there that think that bisexuality means that you're equally attracted to everyone, but that's not the case. You can have preferences, and in fact, I think just about everybody will have preferences when it comes to who they're attracted to. Except for, I suppose, the people that are making confused ace sounds after I said that. It's okay, just eat some garlic bread and you'll be fine. But for everyone else who is attracted to others, think about it. There are certain things that will make someone more attractive, and certain things that will make someone less attractive. There are several guys who simply aren't attracted to muscly women. It's not because they're gay or anything, they just don't like muscles on women. There are some people who are attracted to that. Personally, I tend not to be attracted to people with beards. There are a lot of guys out there who have beards. I also tend to be attracted to a lot of things that are stereotypically, MB, like having colourful hair or no sense of fashion. That is a joke, by the way. There are a lot of MBs out there who are very, very fashionable. I just know that a lot of people are going to hear that and feel called out. Now, given what I've said here, there is a label that I've previously used to describe my sexuality, and that is heteroflexible. Now, I do like this label because it's a bit better than bisexual, because a lot of people do associate bisexuality more with something like pansexuality. It's just that bisexual is far more recognised by a lot of people. So that's my sexuality, right? I am heteroflexible, which means that it's a subset of bi, which means that I'm queer. Now, the video has a lot of length left, doesn't it? I haven't been entirely truthful. Sure, I am bisexual, and I have used the term heteroflexible to describe myself. However, I'm actually a lot more gay than you might realise. Now, some people will say, yeah, we know that. Look at what you're wearing. I thought gay people were a lot more fashionable than this. Actually, what am I wearing? Who said that this looks good? I didn't. I didn't even buy it. Someone else bought it for me saying that I'd look good in it. I never saw that. Yet I've been wearing it for ages. Now you might ask, well, why would you wear something if you know that you don't look good in it? Also, what does this have to do with the point of the video? And to that I say, one question at a time. I will only be answering the first question. You will forever never know the answer to the second question. And the answer to that is, if I had have known that there were clothes that I liked wearing more than this, I would have worn them. Sometimes it's very difficult to figure out what works because nothing does, or at the very least, nothing appears to work. It's not that I necessarily look awful in the things that I wear. I'm sure that there are some people that say, I like that top on you. It works well on you. Why are you beating yourself up over it? And I don't know. Because I put this on. It can't have been that bad. There's just something not right about it. However, that doesn't really apply anymore because I've now found clothes that I like. So yeah, I'm just gonna change, so I'll be right back. Here we go. A lot better, don't you think? So this feels far more comfortable, not because it's actually more comfortable, but because I like how I look in this. Now people may be wondering what the whole point of that thing was, and I can't go saying something like, yeah, I'm more gay than you might realise, and be unfashionable, can I? I mean, I can, but it would look bad. Also, wearing the top that I was wearing really wouldn't have given the vibe that I want to give. Now, I'm sure there's going to be people going, okay, cool, you've changed, fine, it'll look good. Please get to the point, because I want to know if you'll be attracted to me. Hold on to your horses there, buddy. This is a journey we're going on. Like, this needs a bit of theatre, a bit of suspense, a bit of intrigue. Like, I could just talk about how growing up I always thought that I was straight, but then I realised, wait, my sexuality is a lot more complex than that, and it's probably in large part due to growing up there was a lot of homophobia. But that's not exciting, and besides, I wouldn't be able to articulate that well, aside from what I just said there. Alright, so... okay, being honest here, I really like this outfit. It makes my brain go brr when I wear it, and that's a really nice feeling. And a lot of you probably know exactly what I'm describing here. If you need a hint, it starts with E. Okay, trans femmes, I know you're going to answer estrogen. It's not that. Not everything is about estrogen. But despite what I've said about this, it doesn't quite convey the point that I wanted to. Yes, it does help me convey a larger point that I need to make, but it's not quite what people expect. Anyway, I'm sure you have figured out where this is going by now, so let me change into an outfit that is more expected of someone like me, and then I'll explain it. So, this is going to explain a bit, but it probably also needs a bit of explaining. So it was a bit of a wild ride to get here, which was intentional, and I probably don't sound exactly how you expect me to sound. And if you're still wondering what's going on, I don't know how you don't see the what. Do I have to say it? So some of you will have seen the video on April 1st, a fun video all about eggs. Yes, I was being serious right at the end when I said this. Anyway, I will see you in the next egg. Between you and me, the actual joke of this video is that I'm trans. Now some people realise that it wasn't a joke because it's clearly very trans-coded. I mean, it was a video about eggs, for Pete's sake. Now technically I did come out a year ago, but that was if you're paying attention and you know what the egg joke means. And also, whilst we're at it, we're going to debunk the claim of you don't need buoyancy, you only need relative density disequilibrium to explain why some objects float and other objects sink. And you know what that means? It means that this is an egg. Although, my egg does appear to have cracked quite a bit. So I hope there's no ambiguity now. In fact, there shouldn't be any ambiguity. Can you imagine if someone's watching this and going, yeah, but I still don't know if Planet Walk is trans. Sure, they've said it, but I can't tell. Like, is this joke? No, it's not a joke, hypothetical person that might be watching this that may need that clarified for them. Now, me being trans isn't quite as simple as you might think. Sure, it's easy to say, I'm trans, and then people come along and go, cool, what are your pronouns? Or you get the less than optimal reaction, one of the two. In which case, I should probably clarify my pronouns, because yes, I do have pronouns. They're she, they, and sometimes he. So, to clarify my gender identity, I'm sure you know what a non-Newtonian fluid is. It's just something that everyone knows, like oobleck. So I am gender fluid, hence why there are some things like the waistcoat that give me gender euphoria, but then there are things like this that also give me gender euphoria. I spend way too much time looking in the viewport going, I like how I look. I also like to think of myself as a non-Newtonian gender fluid because sometimes when I'm under a lot of stress, my gender will just solidify and stay that way for a bit. So that does also mean that I'm non-binary. So when I was saying that NBs have terrible fashion sense, yeah, you can't cancel me for that because I am an MB. I have terrible fashion sense, maybe, probably. There are also times when I consider myself to be more of a trans woman than not. It really depends on how I'm feeling. It can change from day to day. And you know what? I think that's fine. I'm also on HRT, which means that how I look should change. In fact, I think how I look has already changed. I mean, my boobs hurt. That's a good sign. The whole goal with that, obviously, is to just be more comfortable with how I look. I am starting to feel a lot more comfortable wearing certain tops that I wouldn't have worn beforehand. Also, my hairline is no longer trying to secede from my head, which is great. I was not liking how that was going. Now, you might be wondering if I'm going to do anything beyond HRT. Yes, I'm probably going to get laser hair removal on my face because shaving all the time is annoying and I can never quite get it all gone. As for surgeries, that is something that may potentially be on the table, but I'm going to wait a couple of years for that before deciding anything about that, and also talk to people beforehand to see what it's like. There's no point in getting something like facial feminization surgery, for example, if my face is already feminine enough, right? Also, I know people are going to ask why my voice isn't feminine. Voice training is difficult, okay? Estrogen does not change your voice at all. That is testosterone that does that, not estrogen. So if I want to change my voice, that's just going to have to be work that I'm going to have to do. I do want the ability to be able to do a feminine voice, but I also want to be able to switch to masculine because, you know, gender fluidity and all that. So I've talked about some of the obvious questions that people might have, but I know that one of the questions that people will ask is, why? Like, why have I decided to transition at all? Couldn't I just be a feminine man, as a lot of people like to say? And yeah, that is something that I could do, but the label man has never really been something that I've had any attachment to at all. You know, when I was, 19, 20, I didn't feel any attachment to it, and I thought, I just have to grow up a little bit more. But growing up, that didn't change. There is just some kind of disconnect there whenever someone tries to call me a man. Like, sure, yeah, I have masculine traits, and sometimes I feel rather masculine, but I never feel like a man. Throughout my transition, I've learned that there are different ways that gender dysphoria can present. It doesn't have to be an intense psychological torment at one's gender. It can be like simple discomfort. Now we can try to analyze, why do I feel so uncomfortable when it comes to people calling me a man? Why have I never been able to acclimatize to anything like that? What's causing that? And we can try to logic through all that and maybe arrive at an answer, but I've tried that already, and it seems pointless. And the reason for that is because there's no justification for why I feel this way. There's no logic there. It just is. It's emotions. You don't need a justification for how you feel. There's this thing that a lot of people do when it comes to sexuality, and that is they try to justify it. They try to justify, why am I attracted to a certain type of person? Like, I could try to justify why I'm attracted to people with bad fashion sense, by saying, they're a different person, and a lot of people try too much to be the same, and they're not scared of being different, but the real reason is that I just am. I didn't one day try to logic out all the different reasons for why I'm attracted to someone, try to work out why I prefer certain hair colours over others. It just happened to be that way. Sure, I can come up with logic for why certain parts of my sexuality are certain ways, but at the end of the day, it's just how I feel. Also, the logical conclusion of trying to justify everything is you'd have to justify why you were sexually attracted to someone in the first place. You can try and justify it with something like sex is nice, but counterpoint, hands. Now you might say it's because you want kids, and sure, but do you use contraceptives? Because if you're using contraceptives, I don't think it's just because you want kids. And you can run down the rabbit hole of why do you want kids and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's just easier to go, yeah, this is what I want. Now you may say, sure, but you did used to identify as a cisgender person. Why and why did that change? And the reason being is because I didn't know what being trans was like. I hadn't really met anybody who was trans yet, so I didn't really have the opportunity to be told, hey, this is what it's like to be trans, and if you are trans, this is what you can do. At the end of the day, it was always, yeah, it would be nice to be a girl, but that's really not an option, so I guess I'm just stuck with being a guy. That is such a cliche thing for eggs to say. And compound that with a lot of homophobia, which often says, you know, if you do anything even remotely feminine,
oh, that's fucking gay!
Because of the last one in particular, I didn't want to do anything feminine because I knew that people would, you know, make fun of me for it and say that I'm gay. Unfortunately, homophobia and transphobia are very interlinked, as much as the LGB crowd would like to deny that. So because there were things that I was doing to try and keep up some kind of facade of masculinity in order to not get insulted by people all the time, I actually went through a phase to try and unlearn all that. At the time I was actually thinking, maybe I am non-binary, but I didn't know what non-binary really meant, so I just opted for gender non-conforming as a label. But later there are a few things that happened between me and my friend group where we joked about dressing up as cat girls. And around that time I also tried nail polish for the first time, which was cool, but again there was that thing of, what are other people going to think? Are other people going to make fun of me for this? But anyway, I went to a party, and what I decided to do for this party was wear cat ears and makeup. And that was fun. I actually really enjoyed that. At the time I did not have any feminine clothing, so I just had to make do with a black shirt. Anyway, later on I decided, I'm going to do this again, but this time I'm going to buy a dress for it. You know, commit to the bit. Anyway, the night that I did that, my friends all probably wondered what that loud cracking sound was. That is to say that I actually really enjoyed myself. That was when I decided I wanted to wear more feminine clothing. Not that I'd be feminine all the time, but sometimes I'd be feminine if I felt like it. Anyway, not too long after that, there were people that told me that they didn't want me wearing feminine clothing to certain events of theirs. And that created a feeling I did not like. That caused me to think about things a lot deeper and kind of reevaluate and reconsider my relationship with my own gender. Because I didn't have a problem with masculine stuff, but being told that I had to dress manly for an event made me want to be even more feminine. So I decided to accept that, okay, I am gender fluid, I am non-binary, I am trans. Because if it had just been a gender non-conforming thing, I don't think that I would have felt the way that I felt. I then decided to buy a skirt, and I did not want to take that skirt off because I was getting gender euphoria from that. I also had some trans friends that helped me understand the feelings that I was feeling. It's kind of hard to understand what's going on in your head if you don't even have the language to begin to describe it. And that's why I think that it's important to have these discussions and involve trans people, because we know what these things feel like. Sure, there are some trans people out there that just like to meme about everybody being an egg, and they're probably not the best people to have leading the discourse. Also, the trans experience is not a single thing. It's a multitude of things that varies from person to person. My experience is going to be different to that of many other trans people. To be fair, I am a programmer, and I do have a Blåhaj that I've named Blahaj, so mine's fairly typical. I am a stereotype, okay? The stereotype wasn't even intentional. I don't know why, but there's something about trans femmes and programming that just go together. With the amount of programmers that I've known that have come out as trans, and the amount of trans people that I've met that are programmers, if you're a programmer and you're not a furry, there is a high likelihood that you're trans. But yeah, the trans experience, definitely not a universal thing. I didn't have dysphoria so bad that I needed to transition at 13 despite all the homophobia that was around me. Other people have. But that does bring up an interesting point, because I am coming out despite right now there is a lot of bigotry against trans people out there. Only a couple of hours ago, I had a friend say that I probably shouldn't come out due to the amount of bigotry and wait until it subsided. He's not a radical trans rights activist either, he's just a normal person that can see that the bigotry's getting pretty bad out there. But I don't want to wait for things to get better because I don't know how long I am going to be waiting for that. It could be a few months, it could be several years, and I don't want to spend time not being as me as I could be when that's what I want to do. Also, there are always going to be transphobes. It's just a different amount of them. And lastly, I want to explain why I decided to take HRT, because if I'm gender fluid and I like sometimes being masculine, why would I take something that is going to make me more feminine? The top reason is receding hairline, but also I don't look particularly masculine, and I figured, you know, if I don't look particularly masculine, I'm never going to excel at being overly masculine or anything like that, so I might as well excel in being feminine. I also like being more feminine because euphoria go burr, and I've got 25 years of catching up that I have to do in that department. Oh, there will be a few people, I suppose, that will be asking me, what is a woman for no apparent reason? The answer to that is someone who will never sleep with you, so go fuck yourself. But I hope this has helped people understand a lot of my thoughts about this, and in general, who I am. It's also Pride Month, which I thought was a great time to release this video. Not New Zealand Pride Month, American Pride Month. We have it in March. Now, I'm sure you have plenty of questions that maybe I have not thought of, so I'm going to do a live stream sometime over the next couple of days to answer some questions, and hopefully that can clarify a few things for some people. So you may have realised that the video feels like it's ending, but there's still a decent chunk left. Why is that? So, I wrote this part of the video before any other part, though there are a few alterations, because I needed to show the script to the people who are going to say something. In case you don't know, I don't usually script my videos. So, Mr. Sensible had an idea of having members of the community offer congratulations in the video, and I sort of like the idea, but it feels weird to me to go around to different members of the community asking them to congratulate me on coming out, like, hey, I'm coming out as trans, please congratulate me. Just feels weird. I don't feel like I've done anything that deserves congratulations by coming out, and I don't really need the validation either. That being said, I still want to include other creators in the video because I know that we're a community that supports queer people, and I think that should be known. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to some other creators to say, well, something. At the time that I wrote this, I had no idea what they were going to say, and I wasn't telling them what to say either, just sending them the section of the script. So it's up to them what they do, and it's not like I'm holding a gun to their head. Well, except for Dave. Please don't cancel him over a joke, okay?
Hi, Mr. S here. So Planner Walker's decided to come out. Good for Planner. But what about me? Easy. We will find out at last. And I am... But it's just not right. For me. I could organise a vote. But what if the results come back as something that I don't feel comfortable with? Something that I don't feel that I am? That's no good. So, how have I been living up to now? Straight male, because that is how I was born. I never had a plan to be female. I never had to decide if I was attracted to men or women. I never had to think about what role would I want to play, and I never wondered over who or what I am. But I must admit, it's been easy for me because I am what society expects of me. But what about others? What about those who don't fit in with what society expects? Should they suffer from mocking, disadvantage, prejudice, hate, punishment? Should they be ostracised? Perhaps they should just put in a bit of effort and try and fit in. Shut up, sit down, be what society expects of them. Or they could hide themselves away in isolation. So, is that the answer? They should just be unhappy to please everyone else. Is it? Everyone should be what they are. Everyone should live how they want to live. Everybody should be happy in who they are. Everyone else should mind their own business, because how I, or Planner, live our lives doesn't affect them one damn bit. Planner, I wish you well. You have my utmost support and respect. Be you. Be strong. Be happy. Mr. S, signing out.
I've known Planner Walk for almost 4 years now, and if I ignore the fact that he's got a really funny accent, that makes him tricky for a person like me with no noticeable accent to understand, Planner's actually a pretty cool person. Although I may edit that compliment out, I don't want people starting to think that I'm nice. And Planner, if you think that coming out as trans means that I'm going to stop making fun of the way you pronounce the word deck, then I'm afraid you're wrong, pal. And on the topic of coming out, well done. It's a brave thing to do, and I support you 100%. A person's happiness should come before everything, and I, for one, will always embrace diversity and celebrate every individual's unique journey, even someone who talks funny like you do. Love you, bye.
Damn it, my plan didn't work there.
Hey, Planner Walk. Congratulations. I understand you're going to have some rough times ahead of you now, but I hope you find happiness. I hope everything works out. Be true to yourself, and what I mean by that is be true to what's in here, not necessarily what's down there. See you around.
You know what? When I do my comment videos, a lot of the time the flat earthers accuse me of being trans. You know, trans man Dan, FTM transgender, all of this. And my argument is always the same. So what? So what if I am trans? It doesn't make me wrong or changes me as a person. And that is exactly the same about Planner Walk. I'm so proud of Planner Walk for coming out as trans. I truly hope and wish that other people have the same courage as you. Congratulations, buddy.
Hello everyone, Ryder here. I've been asked to say a few words about Planner Walk coming out. What can I say from the bottom of my heart that sounds sincere and not a cliche? I'm happy for you. I'm sure it's been a long and hard path that you had to walk to get here. You get to continue walking that path, but now as your true self, proud with your head held high. You've set yourself on a new path. Who knows where it will take you, but you've taken the first steps, and walking on stilettos must be hard. Joking aside, you're a beautiful soul. I know you'll overcome any obstacles you may face, and everyone who loves you will stand behind you, proud as we can be. Congratulations, Planner Walk.
I just want to say thank you, Planner Walk, for giving us this most important of gifts. An excuse for a gender reveal party. Woo! For real though, Planner, I'm so happy for you and that you have such a lovely and accepting community. I expect you'll receive a whole ton of love and support, but if you do need anyone beaten up, I'm here.
So Planner Walk has come out as trans. I love individuality. I also love freedom. And I love the freedom to be an individual. Everyone should have that. As long as you're not hurting anyone else. I think it's great that Planner Walk is comfortable with who he is. For many trans people, sadly, that's not the case. But as human beings, we're all infinitely diverse from each other. You might be a francophile, that's someone who likes France for some reason. Or you might be a Morris Marina enthusiast. Or a manly Warringah supporter. Or even an unfeasibly obese, corgi-obsessed moron. Regardless, let's enjoy Planner Walk Unleashed over the next few years.
The Earth is flat. All the gods are real. There are only two genders. Are all things that stupid people say. Massive, massive, massive congratulations, Planner Walk, on coming out and going on this journey. I am very proud to know you as a content creator, and I'm absolutely over the moon that you have a very supportive community that are going to help you through this journey, and I'm incredibly excited for you. Good on you.
Okay, I've done research and I can prove that the world actually is flat. At least the RuneScape world, Gillenor, this is anyway. We can do an experiment. If you set up a laser-guided chin chomper on Port Sarim facing toward Brimhaven, what's that? You're coming out as trans. Oh, congratulations, I'm glad you're happy. More importantly, if you set up the other chin chomper over on Brimhaven, what you would expect to see if there was a curve is these lasers don't match up. But what you actually see, because it's flat, is that the laser's perfectly... Where are you going? Come back, I've got more.
Hey, Planner Walk, heard you cracked your shell. Congratulations. Happy Pride Month, and I look forward to celebrating my first Pride Month right alongside you. Stop by the Hive anytime.
I actually do have a problem with this. I can't remember what order the letters go in. Rusty and I wholeheartedly support everyone being who they want to be, but it would have been easier if it was alphabetical.
So, what next? That's an interesting question, because I'm probably going to receive a bit more attention from flat earthers because, unfortunately, trans people are quite an easy target nowadays. That could be interesting, we will have to see, but I do have other content ideas that I've been wanting to do for a while now. Especially one that I thought I was going to make a video on ages ago, but that has become a whole different beast to what I initially planned. I also want to upgrade my PC so that I can get better quality video because my camera is kind of a potato. I mean, I had to adjust the white balance to get the background right. This is the default white balance. I even have my light set to cool lighting to try and offset that, but I am very not the color that I am. There are a lot of possibilities from here, so between you and me, let's see where this goes.